There are moments that should never have been recorded, scenes so unexpected, bizarre, or disturbing that, when captured by a camera, left the world in shock. From awkward situations to unbelievable accidents, some recordings show what no one imagined witnessing, and that is exactly what we are going to see here today. A man was eating a plate of feijoada when he noticed something, let's say, very strange among the ingredients of his food. The footage, taken by a friend, shows the moment when he displays the plate of feijoada, and inside it, what appears to be a piece of a human finger even shows a painted nail, indicating it might belong to a woman. Well, of course, the unusual situation drew attention for its bizarreness. After all, feijoada is made with parts of a pig and not of a human being. How would that be possible? And worse, why were they finding it funny?
Isso não é dedo na minha feijoada não, né, mano? Não vou comer mais não. Mas você dá risada, né, filho? Aí, ó. Não, mas por que tá pintado de azul a ponta?
The video began to go viral on the internet, with many people saying they were frightened by the footage. Many believe it is something fake, that they simply grabbed some piece that resembles a finger, painted the tip, and gave the impression that it really was a finger. Others say they believe it. Despite the buzz, up to this moment nothing is known for sure, and no official conclusion has been defined about what it could actually be. Kevin Wayne Van Leuven, 59 years old, a home inspector in Clarkston, in the state of Michigan, United States of America, was accused of touching himself, if you know what I mean, using a doll of the character Elmo from the series Sesame Street during a house inspection in March of 2021. On that occasion, Van Leuven was conducting the inspection of a property, and the owners had left the house, making the place available for the visit. The couple had a security camera installed in the baby's room, which sent an alert to the owner when it detected movement. Upon checking, she found that Van Leuven was in the room and had allegedly engaged in acts of a sexual nature with the character's doll before putting it back in its original place. During questioning, he claimed he had only moved the doll to inspect an electrical outlet, but his actions in front of the camera were considered incriminating. He ended up being charged with aggravated indecent exposure and malicious destruction of property valued at less than $200, and, in October of 2022, was convicted on the charge of aggravated indecent exposure. The case drew attention both for the nature of the act and for the unusual context of the home inspection. As we already know, during Carnival, a lot of kissing happens, and it was in that situation that a guy ended up being filmed and went viral all over the internet. In this case, he was kissing an alleged woman right in the corner. The woman, in fact, was very happy with the kiss she had scored, but the man, as soon as he noticed something different, stopped kissing her and pulled away. She even tries to touch his face, pulling him back, but the man backs off. What did he see that was different to leave so quickly like that from the woman? Well, many internet users commented that this was a trans woman. I have nothing against it, but the man there seems not to have liked finding out that he was kissing a trans woman. Anyway, people are free to do whatever they want, but this guy ended up falling into a setup he apparently did not want. A reporter ended up being caught by surprise by supposedly showing the photo of an interviewee who had asked to be anonymous. The footage shows the interview with the woman, who had her face hidden and her voice altered. However, due to some error, during the interview the camera cut to inside the studio, where the host was showing who the interviewee was, who ended up being very clear in the images. Upon realizing she was being filmed, the shock is big, and she tries to hide the phone, but it was already too late. Apparently, she was showing off-air to someone from production who the interviewee would be, and did not expect that right at that moment an error would happen and the images would switch back to inside the studio. Many people even raised the possibility that it had been something purposeful to harm the host, but nothing was confirmed. At a certain period in her career, the singer Anita launched an intimate perfume and began promoting it in a very unusual way on the shows where she was a guest. In one of these promotions, the situation drew quite a lot of attention. The footage made during the program shows the host curious about Anita's product and asking for explanations on how to use it, and, of course, being surprised by the way in which Anita explains and lays out the situation. The singer does not mince words to show and describe the product, saying that it can be used even in that place, which leaves the host very embarrassed.
Es un perfume íntimo que estoy lanzando.
¿Un perfume íntimo?
Sí, para la
The scene of Anita's interaction with the Spanish host went viral on the internet for the singer's authenticity and striking personality, as she is known for being very straightforward. During the premiere of the movie The Lorax in 2012, Zac Efron starred in a moment that quickly became one of the most talked about and embarrassing of his career. The actor, who voiced one of the main characters in the animation, arrived on the red carpet, actually an orange carpet, alluding to the film's vibrant colors, surrounded by fans, photographers, and journalists. While posing for photos and greeting people, he approached his publicist to hand over something that was in his pocket. However, when trying to take out the object, a golden wrapper ended up slipping from his hand and falling to the ground. The wrapper, which unmistakably looked like a condom, was immediately noticed by the paparazzi, who began to laugh and record the moment. Zac, visibly embarrassed, quickly bent down to pick it up, hid his face in a nervous smile, and whispered, "Oh my God," to his publicist, trying to play down the awkwardness. The cameras captured the scene in full, and within a few hours, the video was already circulating on the internet, becoming one of the most talked about topics on social networks and entertainment sites. Days later, during an interview on The Today Show, the actor was asked about the incident and ended up confirming in a good-humored way that he had indeed dropped a condom. He laughed about the situation and commented that since then, he started checking his pockets before entering public events, joking that he adopted a pocket-checking policy to avoid new embarrassments. A woman was debuting her new purchase, a sort of electric roaster, and clearly showed that she still did not know how to use the product in the worst possible way. The video, taken by her husband, shows the moment when the woman, while using the device, gets the position wrong and, precisely because of that, places it upside down on top of her wooden table. After some time with the appliance on, a strong, burning smell rises and, upon checking, she realizes the mistake she had made. She flips the oven over, and that is when she discovers her table with a huge black burn mark, all because she did not place it in the correct position. The wooden table burned, the smell rose, she found it odd, and upon checking, it was already too late. The table had already burned and the disaster was done. A woman who was with some friends about to go down a water slide almost showed too much while adjusting her bikini. The video, made by one of the friends who was waiting to go down the water slide, shows the moment when the woman approaches laughing and adjusts the top part of the bikini, which was slipping. However, by doing so, she pulls it too far and almost shows what she should not in front of the cameras. She seems to realize exactly what she had done and right after acts naturally.
Are you going heels and
Ready?
After sharing the video of the moment on social networks, many internet users began to notice and talk about it, which ended up making the scene go viral. A curious scene was acted out by a man and by a woman who got startled when she saw the man approaching with a kiss. The footage, made by the man himself, shows the moment when he hugs a woman, puckers up, and tilts his forehead to give a kiss, that famous forehead kiss that shows affection. However, upon seeing the man approaching her face in that way, she seems to be startled, understands it wrong, and moves away from the kiss.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm well. Ready for vibes, guys. Ready for vibes. Ready to dance.
The man, as we can see, is visibly embarrassed by the situation and tries to play it off, as does she, who also seems to realize that she had been quite impolite and tries to justify herself. An unusual scene was recorded during one of the tributes to September 11th, the day of the terrorist attack in the United States of America. The tribute ceremony was taking place normally, as usual, when, at the moment he had to ring a bell, the officer responsible for it got flustered and could not ring it in any way. To make his situation worse, everything was being recorded, and at the exact moment the bell was to be rung, the shot zooms in on his position and shows the desperation he faced to ring the instrument. What it looks like is that the equipment had failed in some way, which would not be the man's fault. However, being there trying to ring it and not managing to, his image is marked. A waitress tried to carry a large box of dirty dishes on a staircase, and the result was not at all what she expected. Upon starting down with the cart full of dishes, she thinks she would really be able to go down the place calmly, but that is not what we see. Right away, the cart picks up speed, goes straight down, and ends up at the bottom of the stairs upside down, with all the dishes thrown to the floor and broken. As we see, she even tries to hold the cart so that it would not go down the stairs, but obviously, due to the weight, she cannot, and is forced to watch everything collapse right in front of her. A woman filmed the moment when she went down a water slide, and the footage of her entire path up to the jump went viral on the internet. In the images taken by herself, we follow the moment when she goes down the water slide at full speed, picks up great momentum until finally reaching the end, which was a ramp from which her body was launched upward, and like that, she literally flew until finally hitting the water hard. The scene looks very extreme, and this style of water slide, in which the person is thrown upward making a jump to fall into the pool, has been gaining more and more fame among people precisely because of these videos. In a controversial play in the Campeonato Brasileiro in 2025, in the match between Santos and Internacional at Vila Belmiro in Santos, São Paulo, Brazil, Neymar, after a shot, even celebrated the goal, but got frustrated right afterward. The play was filmed by the Brazilian YouTuber and influencer known as Cartaluco. In the images, we see Neymar picking up a rebound and finishing toward the goal. The ball deflects off an opposing player, hits the post, rolls on the goal line, and seems to go in. Neymar, seeing that, goes off celebrating the supposed goal with the crowd, who also celebrates, but soon after, he realizes that the referee had not validated the goal and that he had celebrated for nothing. The player's frustration is genuine, and he is left not understanding a thing, in addition to, of course, complaining a lot. After all, he was certain it had been a goal. The reviewed play showed that indeed, the ball had not completely crossed the goal line. A 17-year-old, identified as Quantrell D. Schwartzlow, was in custody at the Rock County Sheriff's Office in the state of Wisconsin, United States of America, when something unusual happened. He had been taken to an interview room on the second floor of the building to be questioned, and was left alone for a few moments. In that window of time without supervision, he opened, or forced open, a second-floor window and jumped out. The fall was about 4 meters. After the jump, he managed to flee running temporarily. The authorities only found him again about 4 hours later and arrested him again. After the incident, it was reported that security measures were reinforced. For example, metal bars were placed on the second-floor window to prevent similar escapes. A bricklayer recorded the step-by-step of his workday, in which he was putting on a roof, and the images began to circulate on the internet. In the recording, he goes along doing and narrating, explaining the step-by-step of what he was executing in a video that piqued many people's curiosity. He even made a point of showing the moment of the mistake. After all, we are all subject to failures. In the situation in question, he had to make a support, a base on the roof, so that a water tank could be placed. However, in his first attempt, things clearly did not go as expected, and because of that, the base collapsed, bringing all the mortar down. Despite the setback, he quickly managed to arrange an alternative, took advantage of that fallen mortar, and remade the base with another material which this time left everything firmer. Don't forget to subscribe so you can watch more videos like this.